It seems like in every single game that the Pacers play after another one, they just keep getting better. They stole game one off a crazy, Halliburton jumper, insane, win by 1 point. And they get smacked in game two, come back in game three at home, and a team that was supposed to win 70 games this season and is one of the best historic teams of all time, Pacers get them at home and they almost give them a double-digit loss. So there's a lot of things that went into this game that I really, really liked. But the main one was that the Thunder just did not play like the Thunder. And I'll talk about that a lot later. But in terms of stats, the Pacers only had 13 turnovers and the Thunder had 17 turnovers. So I can't remember exactly how many fast break points and points off turnovers each team had, but I know that the Pacers had more. And then the bench battle. Obviously, that was the big thing of this game. Bennedict Mathurin and TJ McConnell went insane. I'll talk about them in a sec. But for the bench, the Pacers had 30 points off the bench in the first half. The Thunder had 11. At the end of the game, that skyrocketed to 49 points off the bench for the Pacers and 18 for the Thunder. And this is the Thunder team that we all know is just deep, deep, deep. And they could just keep pulling guys. I don't know what happened today. It just did not go well. Bennedict Mathurin, he was just delusional in my mind. I think he went 9 for 13. He was just taking some shots. Like my wife, she had stepped away and then came back for like 2 minutes. And in that 2 minutes, Bennedict Mathurin hit like a pull-up three, and then a pull-up swing to the right jumper. And then after that, she came back and he did the same thing and missed it. And she's like, oh, that's a bad shot. And I'm like, he just hit the same shot like twice before. Then like 2 possessions later, comes down, hits the same jumper from the same spot. And I'm like, he's like only missed 2 shots. So you got to just keep shooting the shots you know you're going to make. And TJ McConnell, all I wrote down was that boy. I mean, 10 points, 5 assists, 5 steals. Crazy. It's just crazy that these performances are very, very good. Bennedict Mathurin had 27 points. Like I said, TJ McConnell 10, 5, and 5 steals. But this isn't just like, oh, it's a good performance from the bench players. This is the biggest stage out on basketball. This is 100% the pinnacle of basketball performance. And these boys are putting up these numbers in a finals game. Just crazy, crazy, crazy. OKC is definitely going to have an uphill battle. Indiana only needs 2 more wins, and they have 2 more home games as of today, the day after recording, and tomorrow's game 4. So they've got game 4 and game 6 locked in, right? So they only need 2 more wins, and they've got 2 more home games. So it's easily an uphill battle for OKC. It's going to be hard to stop them from winning because this Pacers team, along with the crowd, which is a 100% a factor, they know if we go up 3-1, only one team ever has come back 3-1 in the finals. And that happened like 10 years ago. So with LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love. Not saying this Thunder team can't do that, but holy crap. So the Pacers have that on their mind. Like, we can go up 3-1 if we win just this game. And then it could probably go to 7 and whatever. It'll go both ways. Thunder's still a very, very good team. But that's super hard to fight when the Pacers, who just straight up outwilled you that last game, game 3, and you didn't really have anybody. I mean, the whole team down to the bench was just outwilling you. They wanted it more. And so the OKC got to go on the road and want it more. Now, both teams are back up against the wall in kind of an interesting situation. Like I said, Pacers want to go up 3-1. That basically, I don't want to say guarantees in the series, but let's be real. You go up 3-1, and you get another home game in the bag. Oof, that's kind of rough, dude. Especially when they stole a game on the road already. OKC, they're on the ropes because they're down 2-1. And they kind of didn't think that this was going to happen, honestly. From what I've seen, game 1, they were winning the whole time. And the Pacers, their first lead was the game winner, right? So very, very interesting to see how that works out for the Thunder. And if they could step it up a little bit. I know Chet came out really hard in the first quarter, first half. J-Dub the whole time really, really played well. We'll talk about him in a sec. But don't get me wrong, it's also going to be hard for the Pacers as well. Because they have to replicate that. They had 49 points off the bench. And these guys, Ben Mathurin hit a Joel Embiid 2023 MVP where he had more points than minutes. That is extremely hard. And he matched Jason Terry and Manu Ginobili for the only players in NBA history to come off the bench and score 25 points. Ben Mathurin is in that conversation now. And that's Jason Terry and Manu Ginobili. So this Pacers team is legit. And that's why I said I feel like every game they play, they just keep getting better. Because in the first round, we were like, Cool, they beat them. Second round, they played the Cavs, and then they beat that team who had a 15-game win streak to start the season and almost had a second one. And were probably going to. They were supposed to win 70 games. That's what I thought. And then they kind of sandbagged. But they beat them, and we're like, okay. Then they go to the Knicks, and I'm like, there's no way they're going to beat them in MSG. You can't. And then they did. And then they go to OKC and steal game 1 and game 3. I don't want to say steal. That's not the right word for game 3. They beat them in game 3, 100%. They robbed a freak out of game 1. That was a robbery. That was just snatch, give us a W, and we're going to walk out of here, right? So you've got to replicate that, though. You got to keep going. The defense has got to step up. And for the Thunder to not let them replicate that, the defense has got to step up on Halliburton. Because Halliburton, first 2 games, everyone was kind of like, he doesn't have a bag. He's not really scoring. This game, bro, he was chucking it all over the place. And he was hitting them. He was hitting the threes. And so they got to really lock in on him because he's now being more aggressive, being like, I'm a passer, but I got to go get these buckets. I think he had 25 and 11 assists, 9 rebounds. He gets that one more rebound, bro. We're talking about triple-double in the finals. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton is on superstar level right there. Crazy, crazy. I also think that the Thunder just weren't playing their game. And I want to be very clear when I say this, that there's a difference between not playing your game and making adjustments to match the other team. Because obviously you have to do that. But the Thunder just not playing their game. And from what I've seen, there was a couple situations where they're like, we have to shut down the transition defense. So when we're shooting free throws, we're going to have 2 in the paint, the shooter, and 2 back. That's just a very key way of slowing down the transition offense. And I didn't think that the transition offense was even killing them, in my opinion. I thought it was the half court. They weren't getting stops like they needed to, right, against the Pacers. Pacers were just going in. It wasn't necessarily a ton of, they're killing us in the fast break, which is what the Pacers do generally. But I just think overall that they, start Case and Wallace over iHeart. Why not play iHeart? You play the double big for like half the season, and you did very, very well. It's just interesting to see how they have molded themselves maybe a little bit too far. And then you do that, and then you don't get kind of your breaks on offense, and you miss how many free throws. And they shot 76% from the free throw line. Now, there has been some good things for OKC. J-Dub and Chet were very good. Like I said, Chet very, very good to start the game. Very aggressive. He was 0 for 6 from 3, but he had 20 and 10, so that's a good game. And J-Dub had 26 points on 50% shooting. So I really, really like what I saw from J-Dub in terms of I'm the scorer. I'm going to go out and get this and get my buckets. And one of the biggest ones was end of the third quarter. ISO for like last 8 seconds, step back, 3, cash, going up by, I think he was up by 6 for the fourth quarter, I think. I can't remember. But yeah, they've got to step up a little bit more. Shea, I wouldn't say he sold. He was fine. But Lou Dort needs to step up. Casey Wallace was like minus 15. And if you're the starter, bro, you got to go. And if iHeart's coming off the bench, if you're going to make that guy come off the bench, you got to play your game. Now, what was good for Indiana? Defense was insane. And I know we're going to talk about the off-ball passing lane stuff with Halliburton and Nesmith and McConnell specifically. But overall, holding OKC to 107 was impressive. That was crazy. Miles Turner just shut everyone down in the fourth quarter. He was just like, hands up. No, you're not coming inside, bro. This is not how it's going to go. Like I said, Hallie and TJ in the passing lanes. But Nembhard and specifically Ben Shepherd on Shea was so much fun to watch because I thought that they were doing a very, very good job. And Shea is so smart, dude. You could tell this dude puts the work in. He's coming off a screen. He gets him on an island. And then he starts driving. And they, instead of sliding their feet, they're kind of doing a little hop skip. So that millisecond that they're in the air, Shea pushes off. That gives them an extra 3 feet of space. And that's how he's hitting stuff down. But then they stopped doing that, where they just stayed. And there was one where Nembhard got pushed. And it could have been an offensive foul, but I like that they didn't call it because it was 100% full extension into his chest, pull back, shoot, right? But Nembhard got pushed and then just was whatever, and then still contested, and Shea missed it. So I just love that the defense, the overall, the individual one-on-one defense has been very, very good. Now, what's my verdict? I think that it's going to be a tight one, no matter what. Single-digit victory by either team, 100%. This is not going to be a blowout from any other team. If it is for the Pacers, this is going to be nuts. I don't think I see it happening, but it could be crazy. I do have OKC for Game 4 because in order for them to be a championship team, you got to go on the road and win a game. You can't just go in and last night was kind of a stinker from him. I mean, there were some good things, like I said, but break free throws the wrong time. Didn't really have an offensive kind of spurt outside of the first quarter. And then you kind of just flatlined, and then the energy got high, and McConnell came in, and that was a whole thing in the second quarter. So you got to take control first and keep it going. And so I think the OKC is going to be able to bounce back because they are a very, very good team. And I think this is, even though Denver took them to 7, I think this is the hardest team that they've had to play overall because no one on Denver was guarding Shea like this. I mean, let's talk about it. They have got guys everywhere, and then their offense is really, really stacked as well. So I have OKC for Game 4 just because I think this is a better series than we thought. Anyone who said this is a trash series because small market, no superstar stuff, that's dumb. This is great. Even though my team, the Clippers, are not in anymore, obviously they got bounced the first round. Watching this as like a neutral, like Pacers and Thunder, I like both teams. I've liked both teams. Love Halliburton, love Shea, J-Dub, Chet, all those guys. So I love just watching it neutral. And I see things from both sides a little bit better than when I see, with my little goggles of watching the Clippers games, and I'm very biased. So that's everybody. So it is fun to watch neutral basketball. I do have OKC for Game 4. That's all I got for today. Sorry about the mic issues in the beginning. Hopefully you can still hear me. If not, that's going to be kind of tough. That's all I got. We out.